Hey, what's up? I'm Josh Todd from Buckcherry, and you're listening to the Mixtape. Check it out.
Hello and welcome to the Mixtape podcast, where every week I take a deep dive into my guests' musical influences and inspirations by asking them to make up an imaginary mixtape. They'll have 6 track choices and they'll have to pick from categories including their favourite cover version, a song they wish they could play to their 18-year-old selves, a song for a romantic interest, and a song they sing in the car or the shower. If you're enjoying these episodes, then please feel free to go to the top of the page, rate the podcast 5 stars, or give us a follow on social media at the Mixtape Podcast and Radio Show. And you can discover over 100 archive episodes just by visiting themixtapepodcast.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Hello and welcome to this week's mixtape for KCR 102.5 FM and the mixtapepodcast.com. Joining me today, it's Josh Todd from Buckcherry. How are you, Josh?
I'm good, man. I'm in Canada right now on tour with Steel Panther, and we're on the Roar Like Thunder tour. We got a great record dropping June 13th.
How's it going with the Steel Panther tour? Has that been, I imagine it's been a fun tour to be on?
Yeah, those guys are lovely. We played with them way back in the day in Australia as well. And they're really sweet guys and we get along really well. It's been easy and effortless and fun, and the shows have been great.
So let's talk about the new record then that you mentioned earlier, out 13th of June. Stream that on all the usual places, and you can already pre-order physical formats through buckcherry.com. So the title, Josh, Raw Like Thunder, is a pretty powerful title. Is that sort of what we can expect from the album, like those big anthemic sort of Buckcherry tracks?
Yeah, it's a real rocking record. And that was one of the stipulations before we put it out, was like, let's just make a rocking record from beginning to end. No cover songs, no ballads. And that's what we did. And it's really good. It's a really good listen for sure.
Talking about no ballads, I think the second single you've put out from the record, for me, listening to that big AC/DC flavour on that track, is AC/DC a band that you're influenced by?
I think Come On is the one you're talking about as far as AC/DC. That was the second track we put out. And then the third track is Set It Free, that we came with a video. But yeah, people bring up the AC/DC flavor of that song, but we've written a lot of songs, 4 on the floor AC/DC type songs over the years, like Hellbound and Lit Up and All Night Long and stuff like that. We're always going to go back to that, to the AC/DC pie, because we love them. But ultimately, when we write the melodies and you put my voice on it and it sounds like a Buckcherry song. But yeah, it is definitely a tribute to AC/DC when we do those type of songs.
Just a quick one on the producer as well, Josh. I'm always interested to ask bands about album producers and that. So Marty Fredrickson produced the record. He wrote quite a lot of the songs, or almost I think all of the songs on the album.
Yeah, the last 3 albums.
Yeah. So what makes you choose a producer, and do you think it helps a producer being creatively involved in the record as well?
Everybody does things differently. First of all, you got to have a lot of trust and belief in people that you write songs with. And our relationship with Marty goes way back to 2005 when we met him and co-wrote Sorry together. And then we did Black Butterfly with him and so on. It's been a long history, and we love him, and he's great at what he does, and we collaborate together. It's me and Stevie and Marty writing all the songs. So it's a lot of fun, and there's no egos in the room. It's just like the best idea wins, and let's make this as great as it can be. And, let's push each other, and let's make each other bring out the best in everyone. And that's what's great about Marty. He's a real talented guy. He can play multiple instruments. He sings as well. He's great with melodies. He's great with words. He's great at producing and engineering. And his son is really great, Evan's, on this record, co-producing and engineering. And he's great as well. He's like I always call him Marty's mini-me, because he's so much like Marty. He's a very talented kid. And so, yeah, that's the way it goes.
Yeah. So I mentioned at the start there, you can pre-order the vinyl through the website buckcherry.com already. Is vinyl something you're keen on, Josh, as a sort of not just as a musician, but as a music collector and a fan? Are you a big vinyl fan?
I have a 16-year-old son, and he started getting me into vinyl because he's into vinyl, and I didn't really care about it too much because it just became a thing of get all these records and have to put space, and that's the only thing I thought about. I'm always on the go, and I don't need all that stuff. But then he was getting into vinyls. He's buying vinyl records, and I bought him a turntable and a nice little stereo system, and we started going to vinyl stores together, and we just started talking about having these experiences with records and sitting in his room and reading lyrics and talking about, like, we're really into the Doors, my son and I. So we would just go through like the Doors record. And then I bought him Houses of the Holy because it's like my favorite Led Zeppelin record, and so on and so forth. So now I'm really into vinyl again because I had a lot of my first really great experiences were to vinyl for sure. So yeah, now I'm into it.
No, I love that when you have your relationship with your children like that, introducing them to music. And my son's just about to turn 13, and quite often in the car, he'll grab my phone and say, "Can I put a song on, Dad?" And yeah, and like yesterday, it was Arctic Monkeys, and I was like, "Oh, that's fantastic!" Like, I love that. Do you know what I mean? That he's getting into that, he's teaching away. And he's a big AC/DC fan as well. So yeah, we're waiting for that Australian tour announcement to come, which hopefully won't be too long. You touched on it just briefly, Josh, when we are talking about Marty there, but the creative process within the band, like you mentioned, writing with Marty back in the day, but has that always been the case with the band? Has it always been like a collaborative thing? Has your process changed over the years, or do you go back to that tried and tested formula?
Yeah, it's been this way for a while now, and it's really, we're, in my opinion, the last three records have been the best Buckcherry records. Not that the other ones weren't good or anything like that. There wasn't great moments, but as far as a record as a whole and the songwriting and everything is, and the production and everything, it's really great. And yeah, we're just riding that wave. We don't mess with stuff when it's working.
And just a final question on the album and stuff. Like, it's been like 20 years plus, just about, since your first record came out. Like, how do you personally stay motivated, and what excites you about the process still keeps you going?
I always say this, but first and foremost, passion. I really love music to this day, and crafting songs from nothing to something to get them on a record, and then putting a record out. Getting a record together is like building a house. You start with nothing. That's really exciting for me, and it's challenging and it's fun. And then performing is, I still really enjoy it. That's what keeps me going after all these years, and I'm going to keep doing it while I'm enjoying it.
You're listening to The Mixtape.
The Mixtape is brought to you in association with Giglist. Giglist is your one-stop shop for all your live events. If you're looking to get out and experience some live music, you can filter by artist, venue, suburb or date. If you are an artist, it will take you less than a minute to list your gig for free on the website. The Mixtape brought to you in association with Giglist. Gigs in a list. All right, so Josh, my radio show is called The Mixtape, and what I like to do in the sort of second portion of my interviews is, just by way of exploring my guests' influences and inspirations, I'll ask you to make up like an imaginary mixtape and pick some tracks, and I'll give you a category for each track, and I'll just get you to pick a track and just tell me, like, briefly why you chose that track. And then on the radio show, we'll drop the tracks in between, and then on the podcast, there'll be a link in the description to listen to Josh's mixtape by way of a Spotify playlist. All right, track one, Josh. What I always do with the radio show, and whenever I kick off, if I make up a compilation or a playlist for anyone, go in with an attention grabber, straight up, kick it off with an attention grabbing track, mate. So if you were making up a mixtape, what would be your track one attention grabber?
Okay, since we're talking about rock, You Shook Me All Night Long is a big one. When Back in Black came out, that song marked the summer for me in Southern California. It was my first big rock record because I grew up on a lot of independent punk rock records prior to that. So I hadn't heard like major label rock records. And that song was all over the radio. Every party I went to, it was going. And AC/DC is one of those bands where you can dance to it, you can party to it. That's what's so great about their records, and they've done it over and over again. So that would probably be the first one.
I think anytime you get any sort of magazine or website polls where they're looking at greatest rock albums of all time, Back in Black is always there or thereabouts, and massive selling album. I think a real sort of statement, like, it's obviously Brian Johnson's first album with the band, and a real statement. Like it must have been difficult to follow on from someone like Bon Scott, and I think they did such an amazing job with that record, just in that context as well. Fantastic
sure did.
choice, mate. Yeah, brilliant choice. Track 2 of your mixtape, Josh, is what is a song that you sing when you're on your own in the car or the shower? What do you like to let loose with when you're driving around LA or you're in the shower, mate?
I don't know if you'll know about this artist, but there's a song called Love Bazaar by an artist named Sheila E. And I love that song.
Track 3, Josh, is what is your favorite cover version?
My favorite cover version done by an artist? Oh, let's see. Probably would be Manic Monday. It was written by Prince, and I believe the Bangles did it, or it was the singer of the Bangles. I forget.
That's correct. Yeah, Susanna Hoffs. Yeah, that's a great choice, and I think that's one of those where you don't realise it's a cover, and that's always a good sign of a cover. I think a lot of people don't realise that that's a cover version. Yeah, no, great choice.
And also the Black Crowes, Hard to Handle. I never knew that was a cover for a while. I remember hearing that for the first time. I was like, this is so good. And didn't find out till later it wasn't even their song.
Yeah, I only found out about 6 months ago that It Must Be Love by Madness. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that track. I've been loving that song for 40 plus years, and I only found out 6 months ago that Labi Siffredi did the original in 1960 something. Yeah, so that brings our mind. But that's always a great sign when you realise that it's a cover. That's always a good sign for me. Yeah. Okay, track 4, Josh, is what's a song that you wish you could have played to your 18-year-old self?
Like a song that I had written? Or
it could be a Buckcherry song. This is the category where most people pick like their own songs as a way of this is what you could go on to achieve. Or sometimes it's like lyrical life advice or
I could play to my 18-year-old self. Tough one. Probably Killing in the Name of Rage Against the Machine. Because
it's a great choice.
Because it was way after I was 18, and that song is brilliant, and I would have really enjoyed that if I could have captured that type of emotion.
I never got to see Rage live. I did see Audio Slave, funnily enough, in Canada, and then for a portion of the Audio Slave set, Chris Cornell just went off stage and they did like Balls on Parade and Killing in the Name and a couple other tracks.
Check this out. I didn't know who Rage Against the Machine was. And I was over on the East Coast touring with my band before Buckcherry. It was called Slamhound. And we had a day off, and we knew somebody who had like tickets to Roseland Ballroom, like VIP seats. And they got us in, and we're like, do you want to go to this show? It's Rage Against the Machine and Quicksand, right? And I was like, yeah, we'll go. We didn't. And this is when the first Rage record was just starting to blow up, right? And it was sold out, and we're in VIP, so we're above the audience. We're just sitting there. And first of all, Quicksand was amazing, right? And I'm like, damn, this band is great. And so I became a Quicksand fan. And then Rage hit the stage, first record tour, and they were young, they were ready to conquer. And I was like, this is unreal. The place just erupted. And the songs were great. And it was just like, they had such a thing going at that time. And I was completely blown out of my seat. I was like, I just thought Zach was an amazing frontman. Just the whole band, but Zach in particular, because I'm a singer, I was just like, this dude is amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great story about Rage and Killing in the Name. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the story, but in the UK, the X Factor song always made Christmas #1. It was relentlessly, monotonously every single year. And mid-2000s, when social media was getting big, there was a Facebook campaign to make Killing in the Name the Christmas #1 instead of X Factor. And they did it. And there was a big sort of, and the more it got, the more media coverage it got, and it just snowballed. And they did a live stream from LA on BBC Breakfast Radio, and they did the track live, and the presenter was going like, it's 9 o'clock in the morning on BBC Radio, no swearing, and they're like, no, all good, mate, all good. And they just, what's going to happen. Like, he just launched into the song, and it was just like, and then, of course, that gave it even more publicity then, do you know what I mean? And that just gave it even more traction. It was a fantastic moment of British music history, that knocking Simon Cowell off his perch. That was a great one.
That's so great.
Track 5 is, what's a song you'd put on your mixtape for like a romantic interest if you're trying to woo someone, like a bit of a love song? What would you use for that?
Oh, wow. There's so many. I'd probably have to go into the Prince bag and do The Beautiful Ones. Prince.
Great track, mate. Great track.
That's a good song to get down to, for sure.
Prince gets picked in that category all the time. I think he's probably the most popular artist in that category. Final track for your mixtape, Josh, is what's a track that you feel is like underappreciated, doesn't get the recognition that it deserves?
Oh, wow. God, all the songs that I'm into are like hits, so I don't know how that would factor.
It could be a B-side or an album track or something like that.
It's a tough one. I mean, just think. There was a Dramarama song called Anything, and we covered it. And I don't know if it was huge on the radio, but that song is a song that I thought that could have been incredible. Number one hit on the radio, whatever got dispensed. Is that good enough? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's a great one, mate. That's what that track choice is purely designed to dig up, unearth the sort of gems that are unheard. So yeah, that's a great choice, mate. Yeah, talking about your cover version as well, shout out Summer of '69. That's an absolute banger, mate. Loving that one.
Thank you. Yeah, we did that live one day and our manager caught it, and he's the reason why that's on a record.
Just quickly, future plans for this tour. You're in obviously Canada and the United States at the moment touring. Any chance we might see you again down in Australia, maybe back end of this year, early 26?
There is a chance. We're working out all that kind of stuff right now, but right now we'll be touring in the States a lot. We're also going to be doing a residency in Las Vegas with the Scorpions in August, which we're really excited about. And the list goes on and on, but we're trying to work out the international landscape right now as we speak. So we'll get over there soon enough. We're going to be touring probably a couple of years on this record. We'll get there.
Fantastic. Can't wait to see you, Josh. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Enjoy the rest of the tour and take care, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Mixtape podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to go to the top of the page and rate it 5 stars, or give us a like or follow on social media at the Mixtape podcast and radio show. Don't forget, there's over 100 archive episodes just waiting to be discovered. And all you need to do is visit themixtapepodcast.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.